Welcome back. This is episode 9 of my Oxygen Not Included playthrough. In the last episode we went over, we tamed the polluted water vent, which is this up here, and this should just kind of work now, all goes well. There is a food poisoning set of germs in there, which I might look to do something about, but to be honest at this point I'm quite happy with how this has turned out. At the moment we are kind of idle. I'm just going to put him into exosuit training in terms of skill point usage. Same for Stinky. But I think, to be honest, it might be time to consider getting another rancher, because we've got 2 full-fledged ranchers, one for hatches, the other for Drecos. It would be good to have 2 separate ranches for each of the types of animals. So I might try and bring on another duplicate today. Anyone here? I mean, decreased machinery is not horrendous. Yeah, go on. Alright, so that puts us up to 10 duplicates. I think we're doing okay for the mess hall. I think we should probably look to make that a great hall. Actually, yeah, that can be the first thing we do. So, effectively, the difference between a mess hall and a great hall stems to one fancy article or item. Fancy decor item and recreational building. I might actually struggle for recreational building, as we might not have the room for it, but I think we can just stick in like a hanging pot or 2, and that might do it. I think there might be a little bit more to that. Maybe they need a ceiling light. Maybe that's the difference. Oh well. Yeah, so we'll let them get that in there, and we'll get a plant put down in there. So, what were we working on? So, the neural facilitator. I was going to talk a little bit about this. Effectively, the purpose of the neural facilitator, it gives you duplicants a special trait. There are very few traits it can get. It's one of 5. In this game it will be beefsteak, deep diver's lung, regenerative, or sunny disposition. Effectively, that will boost one of various positive traits, and hopefully we need to figure out who's going to get this. Probably Stinky, mainly because I like him the most out of my duplicates. Perhaps I'm biased, but never mind. So yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot, all things considered. I think upscaling the Dreco Ranch should become a priority, because at the minute I don't think it is. Pressure is funny how your pressure, but I can't use the gas pump either. Would have to continue going down. What I will do is I will just get this mined and just get started on hollowing this out. Yeah, we'll set Stinky to this and make it priority 6. We'll just keep an eye on that. Who's idle? Steve is idle. Okay. So, it's kind of now a game of what could I do with next. I think the answer is going to be oil. And I think primarily, really, we need to get this Atmo soup stand boosted up a little bit more. So I am going to sort of get started on that, I suppose. I just want a few more docks. We'll put in, shall we say, that heavy watt plate's now caused me problems. We'll have to put in another heavy watt plate. I'll probably put it here and just connect this up. But yeah, we'll extend the Atmo suit next, I think, because we're going to have a lot more duplicates than what we've got now. I mean, this carbon dioxide is also going to become a problem very quickly. Thankfully, the polluted water situation is almost fully resolved. And that, I mean, fingers crossed that can be mopped up once this is kind of finished. And that'll allow us to sort of get started mining down through this biome. But even then, I'm not sure I want to contaminate this biome, contaminate the main base. So I might have to make like a lock, like a liquid lock or something to just ensure. Right. So Stinky is on this now. He's just going to take his sweet time walking down to there. And we'll just put in... Yeah, go on, we'll just put in some tiles. Just for good measure. I think it's going to be an oil kind of day. But yeah, effectively these things get one charge. And that's it. You get one shot and bang. In this scenario, I'm kind of hoping for the strength on Stinky. But we will see. So, this does its thing. Here we go. And then, complete neural process. He jumps out and he's got regenerative. That is probably the worst one. He's going to regen health quicker, but I'm not planning on him losing much health, so it's kind of one of them. It's a bit disappointing, but never mind. And yet, now this is effectively useless unless I recharge it, which I do not have the power to do. By the time you get the power to do that, you don't really need it. But we should talk about ventilation. When this gets up and running, it'll be easier. But for now, I think if we just connect it all up, I don't know how many we should really put on one gas pump, but I think probably 5 or 6 will be kind of where we draw the line. How can I improve this area? Because I think if we put in like some tiles there, and we put in a door there, and connect it up like that, hopefully we can connect this up so they don't have to walk around. But we'll see. So yeah, they're going to get to work doing this, and we should start thinking about how we are going to tame the oil biome, and where we're going to put everything. And I think the best solution is going to have to be an industrial brick, which, to be honest, I don't know where I'm going to put it. I think it's going to go down here. I think with this abyssalite, there's kind of a nice spot for it to live. It just needs... It might take a little bit of time getting it built. But effectively, what an industrial brick is, it's kind of what it says on the tin. You just put all of your industrial shit all in the one spot. And the reason you do that, mainly heat. You just insulate it, and you make sure like there's a secure lock. You put your metal refinery in it, you put all of your shite in it. And what's he just do? Has he just stood there? Oh, that's fine. And once all of your stuff's in there, only that bit of your base gets hot, so you only have to cool down that bit. Now, there's two approaches. I could put this in a cool biome, so I could put this over here, and that would kind of lend itself quite nicely, because I could just, you know, it's going to be cold because it's in a cold place. But I also don't like the idea of doing that, purely because I think that is a very, very expensive thing to lose. Like, I would effectively sacrifice my cold biome, and it wouldn't be immediate. It would take a fair while to actually do any damage to the cold biome. But once it's gone, it's gone. I can't really bring that back. So I think it's an industrial brick where I just kind of let it get too hot and don't care. That might just be a better way of doing things. But I mean, also this zone isn't particularly damaging. This pressure's probably a little bit lower than I wanted it to be. That's because of the airflow tile, innit? There you go. Build the airflow tile. Get rid of that, and hopefully we can get to work on that. But yeah, I think it's going to be a case of an expansion type of video, where we just sort of simply just maul through the rest of the map. Hopefully it is a relatively straightforward endeavour. I'm not anticipating many difficulties doing this. I might actually just not upload this bit. I'll say how I feel on it, but like it's not going to be particularly a long or pleasant video to watch. It's just going to be me mashing out a caustic biome in full. I am not too bothered about gas flow as well on this part of the base, because it's like, at the end of the day, I'm going to be hollowing it all out, and I'll probably end up, whether I vacuum it out or not, I don't know, because it would take ages. But I suppose there might be room for a discussion on why I'm going for the oil biome before going to space. If I were to go to space now, it would save me a hell of a lot to chew, in the sort of regard of I wouldn't have to deal with gas anymore. If I ever got to a gas that I didn't want, I could just vent it to space, and that's a golden solution, to be honest. Just get rid of it in space. But I'd rather get oil going. I think, when we talk about getting things up and running and getting oxygen going and getting food going, steel is going to be huge in setting us up properly and setting us up to get going for late game rocketry, that type of thing. And we don't get steel unless we get oil first. I think in terms of cooling and sort of gas management, at the moment we're doing okay. The carbon dioxide level is creeping up quite substantially in the lower half of the base, but I'm hoping that with time... Hang on, they're not sweeping up and dropping it in there, are they? They are, aren't they? Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, don't do that. That's silly. I mean, this isn't too bad. I think I'll figure out somewhere for them to empty polluted water. Just otherwise it's all going to sit here, and although it's overpressurized anyway. It's a tricky one, that. But yeah, as I was saying, the oil biome is going to facilitate a lot of our main refinement type of thing. And you don't need to go to the oil biome to use a metal refinery, but petroleum really does help in terms of cooling. It's also a really good source of power. But I don't know, it's a funny one, because I'm not particularly planning on using petrol power. I'd rather avoid it, to be honest, because I don't really like generating heat. I prefer to keep things relatively cool. So yeah, as I say, the main reason I'm doing this, I suppose secondarily it's for just an industrial brick, but primarily I want the Dracos, because I think they're going to be way more useful than the two guys I've got here. But first glossy Draco egg there as well, which is really good. We'll put that in an incubator pretty much straight away. Has everyone got Atmos suit? No. Yeah, this is going to be the next thing, isn't it? That's fine. We'll boost Devon there. I'll do how... I mean, it's at this point where you kind of want a gym, isn't it? So you can just put them all in there and let them crack on. Okay, well, I mean, we've done okay there. Meep... he's going to be me rancher, isn't he? So he's going to need a little bit of time to get there. But if I can do his priorities... He will... where's ranching? There's ranching. And he will just do that for me whenever he can. He might not be able to with him not having the critter rancher skill, but we'll see. I would like these to all be wrangled when they can. But yeah, I mean, it's very basic stuff, innit? Like, I'm just excavating a big biome. Welcome back. You join me at cycle 99. I'm very close to cycle 100 here. But yeah, the industrial brick is going relatively well. They've hollowed out a fair amount of it and built some tiles in. But yeah, happy cycle 100. If you've been watching since the start, well done. Otherwise, do better, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's been okay for the first 100 cycles. I think we're in a really good spot. I have had to add another coal generator on, as we are having some power issues. But as I say, all of that's about to be moved into this big industrial brick as soon as it's finished. But I am going to have to wait for it to finish and whatever else. I'll probably hollow all of this out as well and link it up with the top there. But I'm going to need a liquid lock, amongst other things. I'm concerned about our commute times because things are taking probably longer than they need to. I'm also concerned about that lack of oxygen there. That's just slow, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's going to be fine if I run this for a little bit? I mean, I could put some of my polluted water over there. That's not a bad idea, is it? This is like, I'm aware that this may be frustrating, because this polluted water has effectively been moved twice now. But I mean, we've already got the pipe there, don't we? So, yeah, I think we're going to have to, really. As I say, I'm just going to connect it up with a liquid pipe, get rid of this. If we can go into the plumbing overlay and get the disconnect tool, we'll just cut this off, he says. That'll do. And we will just vent it to here. I will probably have to set up some automation. Should I just run a really long automation wire from that Atmo sensor? Because given a red signal when it gives a... Right, I need a NOT gate then. Oh, I can just run it off the vent. Yeah, sweet. So this is NOT gate. If you don't know what a NOT gate is, it's not hard. Do you get it? Not hard. NOT gate, not hard. Yeah. Sorry. I could only apologise for that. But effectively, it inverts the signal. So if this is sending a red signal, it will go into the NOT gate, make it a green signal, and allow it. And if it is sending a green signal, it will make it a red signal. So effectively, what that's going to do is it's going to, whenever the... hang on, I should probably put a buffer in there as well, really. Because that's going to flick on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. Yeah, let me put a buffer in there. Have I got buffers unlocked? Advanced automation. A buffer gate. Yeah, go on. I'll have a buffer gate, I think. We'll research the buffer gate, and hopefully that can help. But yeah, if you've been watching since episode, I mean, it probably was episode 1. This polluted water has been moved so many times. I am slightly concerned that this water will almost inevitably end up with the polluted water, and then I'm going to try and put the water through a water sieve, and it's not going to work. But frankly, I'm going to deal with that when it comes, and hopefully that can be... I mean, that can't be a big problem, surely. That seems relatively solvable. Yeah, we'll just deal with that when it happens. These guys are cracking on. We've got some glossy Drecklet eggs, so for some plastic, so once we get them up and running, we're kind of going to be laughing. How are we looking for reed fibre? Oh, he says. That's reed fibre. 0 units. Class. As I say, we're getting there. It's just taking its sweet time. And we've got... I think we're going to need to find a different solution for the Atmo suits. Because it's the oxygen at the minute. It's just not strong enough. Actually, shall I tell you what? I'll just drop in an oxygen diffuser there. And that'll fix that, surely. Yeah. But I mean, in terms of coal, I think we're doing okay for coal. Yeah. It's gone down a fair amount, but as our hatches ramp up, we should be okay. Let me get a cycle sensor. So I also set one of these up. Effectively, these just dictate how often in the cycle it comes on. So I'll have this come on sort of once a cycle, just enough time to lullaby, and then be laughing, really. Still waiting on him for the skill point. Harold is there. Steve's fine. Stinky's fine. Right, okay, sweet. How are we looking in the printing pod? Yeah, none of them. That's disappointing, but never mind. But yeah, I mean, this is like pretty much done now. So I suppose we'll talk about why industrial bricks are required. Effectively, the purpose stems down to where your heat is stored. So I want my heat all just kept in this one little box. I don't really want my heat to disappear out of this box, because I'm going to use it for various different things. Nondescript various different things, as I haven't yet decided. But it'll probably be... I'll turn it into an industrial sauna. It's not really the right shape for one currently, but by the time I need an industrial sauna, I will have no issue amending it, if you know what I mean. Like, I can just change the shape of it later. It's more about heat control. So if you look at the temperature overlay, the hottest things we have, and obviously you've got your biomes play a part here. The caustic biome's going to be hotter. It's the same over here. The slime biome is generally the same as your base, maybe a little bit warmer. But our main heat producers are the coal gens and some of the heavy machinery. I'm just going to move that into here. And I will have to set up a way to get them in there quicker. So it's probably going to be a fire pool. They're just going to straight down here. Probably the same there. And I've also extended the nature reserve just down to here, so they can sort of... makes it easier for them. Doesn't really upset anyone, doesn't disturb anyone. They just kind of crack on. Let me just put the settings on this up just slightly. There we go. But yeah, no, things are going okay at the moment. Once they get the insulated tiles in, this space can like sort of be happier to get stuff in there. The chlorine environment that it's in, I'm not so keen, but it's not the end of the world. Like, it's really, I'd want that to be water and steam. But for now, it can be. I mean, it can be fixed later. It's not a huge deal. Maybe I should sweep that granite up. Nah, it should be fine actually. How's my buffer gate doing? It's going. So yeah, I'll cut back when this is kind of finished. But I am just kind of working slowly on getting these types of things working and getting them smooth. Haha. If I get them to do that, actually, is a priority. But yeah, I'll cut back in once this is the industrial brick is more set up, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Okay, so welcome back. We've sort of done about 5 cycles. The industrial brick's going really well. We have it's not an industrial brick in the traditional sense where it uses metal refineries, but it's a brick of where all of my industrial. I suppose it's a brick containing all of my industrial shit, and as such, it is enough of an industrial brick for me. So yeah, I've got some work errands running on the iron, and I'm going to set up a bit of a storage system. And you may be thinking, wait, hang on, we've just set one of those up. Why the hell are we doing it again? Reason being, I would quite like to try and automate it. I've never automated a storage system in the traditional sense, at least like properly. So I think I'm going to give it a good go. I'm going to want an auto sweeper here, and effectively I'm going to dump all of my stuff here in this little gap. We'll have a chute there, and we will have a conveyor loader there, and that will be for, I suppose, putting where all of our things are going to end up, because we're going to need the coal over here, and the iron up here, and whatever else, and I will have to run a big long conveyor line from here, which I will do now. And thankfully I don't need to filter this, because it's going to be filtered down here later. So I'm also going to have a sweeper set up here, probably just here, and I will have to get a bin for it, etc. But effectively it will run from here onto the downline, and it will drop it in the what I will deem the conveyor line, where it's just runs down to the industrial brick. Maybe the industrial line will be better if I call it that. But it can't move backwards through the filter. So this is like my coal line and my egg line, and this will be my industrial line once it gets built. At the moment, I have a ton of iron ore. So things are kind of just easy at the moment to build. I don't see that lasting forever, so I'm kind of taking advantage of it the best I can. So yeah, I've got a glossy Drecklet as well, which is really good news. That will become tame and start producing plastic for us. We'll also need a metal refinery that will take petroleum, because I want to use petroleum for the coolant rather than polluted water. I could use polluted water, but I just think petroleum is going to save me a job. In slightly better news, the electrolyzer / polluted water vent taming has gone well. It is taken a little bit longer than I'd like it to get sort of up and flowing, but I think we're going to be sort of cooking there soon. I've set up a buffer gate on it purely to allow for the sensor to continue the liquid pile up. Hopefully this isn't going to be a problem. I'm just going to set it to 30 seconds while I remember. I've also changed the way that I'm storing eggs, so I'm noticing that my population of hatches isn't growing as quickly as I'd like it to. So I have just said to the auto sweeper, don't put any in the storage bin, any hatch eggs or sage hatchling eggs, and that way when they incubate fully, this will fill up, and hopefully that also solves our food problem. I say problem, food hasn't particularly been horrendous. Like we've done okay. I'd just like it to be a little bit better. Obviously with it being done on proximity as well, the work errands are like hugely biased against coming down to the industrial brick, and I think that's also because we haven't really got a good path. But I think like once I'm going to need some crude oil for this bit, which will be a bit of a trek, but we can probably vacuum this part of the base out, because it's only got a little bit of chlorine. Hopefully vent that to space, and then we can kind of look to hollow this bit out, which would be really nice. In terms of the storage solution, it's being worked on. I think it might be one for the next episode, purely for file size and video duration. I don't know how long this video is going to be, truth be told, because I've been recording for about an hour and a half. But by the time I've cut out all of the boring bits, I say the boring bits like it's not all about one game, and I wouldn't describe it as particularly entertaining to watch. You might, if you do, like and comment. But yeah, so once I've cut all of that out, it might be, I'm aiming for about half an hour. If it's not half an hour, if it's longer, I'm sorry. If it's shorter, I'm also sorry. But I think the shipping stuff will be a next episode job to finish. It might be done sort of off camera between now and the next episode, because it's literally just a construction run. And then I'll sort of talk through my filters and how I'm actually going to automate it, because our infinite storage here has worked really well. But we're going to need another one, which is why I'm building that there. And I'll sort of talk through that in the next one, really. I've got a morb there as well. I've never dealt with a morb. I'm not truthfully, I don't know what they actually do. It's a pest. Oh, fantastic. Right. So he's just going to shit out polluted oxygen. Right, great. Sound, well, he will be killed off in the next episode. Obviously, all my coal generators are really struggling because we don't have any automation set up, so that will be sort of priority number one. Coal levels are also hyperinflated by the situation with the mining out of this biome. It's full of coal, so as such, it's kind of like hugely boosted. But when it stabilizes and we get everything automated, hopefully we'll be able to get a better idea of where we're at. Obviously with us doubling the coal generators, you'd expect that to go down, but also with us tripling the amount of hatches we have, I'm hoping that it just kind of finds a happy balance and we don't really have to think about it. But whether that actually happens, neither here nor there, I think. So yeah, no. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and a comment. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.